As many of you know, I traveled in revival work for over 20 years, a different church every week, about 48 weeks a year. We were at the Southern Baptist Convention in June, and they had vacation Bible schools in June, and also they had Christmas off and Thanksgiving off. Most churches didn't have revivals during those times. And I can truthfully say that in all those years, there was only two revivals that were canceled, but one I think I already told you about. Anyway, I will tell you about it. You know I'm going to tell you about it. But this particular time, we had not known the evangelist, and the pastor didn't know the evangelist, but he'd been highly recommended, and so he invited him. And when we got there, he told us, he said, I don't know this man, but he's come highly recommended, and I know you all are used to working with people you don't know, so we'll do the best we can. And we had prayer, and we went into the service, and we did our singing, and what we normally did was Ed and I did a duet, and then the boys did a duet, and when they were single, and their wives sang with them after they married. But and then I would do a solo before the sermon, and the choir was, of course, do a special. So, and then the man got up, and he was very nice, complimented the people that thanked him for letting him come, and the normal, pre-service type amenities. And then he began to preach, and he preached really strong, and was kind of yelling, a little bit of yelling, which not everybody's used to. But anyway, it was okay. We didn't have any decisions. And the next night, the crowd dropped off a good bit, and you would think that, the first night of revival, people would really support it. But Sunday night was the night we did first, and then Monday night there were very few people there. And he preached even stronger. And Tuesday night, there were even less people there, and the pastor was beginning to get concerned. And that night, the man spoke on sexual immoralities. And he got down on all fours and literally talked about sex being dirty and horrible, and for people, that were into sexual stuff, they were going straight to hell. And, all of that is true in a sense, but it was a little more dramatic than anybody wanted to hear. The next day, the pastor said, I'm going to take this man visiting with me and try to talk to him about backing off a little bit on the yelling and, and don't talk about sex anymore. And, most of the people that come to my church, he said, are Christians. They've been married a long time. They're not into that, and he's preaching to the wrong crowd, I think. Anyway, he said, I'm going to try that. Well, that night he came back and he said, I have fired him. It's not the word fired. I've let the man go. And we were shocked. And he said, I tried to talk to him, and he virtually told me I wasn't a good Christian, and that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I was interfering with the will of the Lord. And he said, we went visiting, and a young woman came to the door in shorts, which, of course, she didn't know anybody was coming, but she opened the door, and he literally pushed his way in, asked her to sit down in her own house, got out on his knees and started giving the plan of salvation in a very strong way. And she was, taken aback. And the pastor got up literally and put his hands on the man's shoulders, pulled him up and said, we're leaving, son. Well, I'm right in the middle. No, we're leaving. So on the way home, he told him, he said, you are not a match for my church or my people. And I will give you the love offering that we've taken up so far, all of it. And you go on your way, get a few days off. You need a few days off. Then he told us that. So he said, I want you all to do music tonight, just music, nothing else. And I will tell the people that the man is gone. And so we had a few days off too, and very little offering. But we fully agreed with him that, there's some things that don't work in some churches, and that man was not the right one. But that's the first time that happened in our life. The next time it happened, we had picked up some teenagers in one church that really, their parents wanted them to go on the road as roadies for us and to be in our environment, and we allowed it. And they had long hair, and they were in charge of the smoke machine. I used dry ice, in a big barrel full of water. Back in the day when there were no dry ice machines or smoke machines. And we would use it on concert night for I'll Rise Again. Fog would come down the aisles of the church and, engulf me, and I had on a long sequin dress. And, it was just something different. But it was all Christian. Well, this woman came in the church when we were setting up, and the boys had the music on loud because they were testing the sound system. They were testing the smoke machine, so the smoke was coming out of the barrel. And they had their shirts off because it was hot in the sanctuary. This was Saturday afternoon. The lady came in to bring the flowers, and she saw the smoke and heard the loud music and saw the boys in their shirt sleeves or without shirts in some cases. And she went immediately to the pastor's house and said, these people have got to go. So the pastor came and he said, I'm sorry, but, there's no way to explain to that lady. She runs the church, sort of. So we went to a what they call campground and plugged in our stuff. And the boys that were teenagers that were with us came in and asked Ed for $10 a piece. And he thought, well, they're going to go to a movie or whatever. So he gave it to them. They came back with haircuts. And they said, we realize that the environment where you all are, this long hair isn't going to work. And we're sorry. They didn't realize it was the smoke and the music. They thought it was their long hair. But what a blessing that was, that they made that decision themselves. Well, we lost our pastor this past week, Don Marston, and I'm dressed to go to his funeral or his celebration of life. And I want to tell you something about him that very few people know. He loved to serve. He loved to serve food and pour tea and pour water and walk around tables and be cute and funny. And when I would have a group here, he would say, you call me when you're ready to serve, I'm going to come serve. And he would drive down from the church, park his car, come in, pick up a plate and a pitcher of tea and start serving. And he was so cute. I would tell people, this is my pastor, Brother Don. He would talk to them and they would have big time with him. And I would look up and he'd be gone. He wouldn't eat. Just as soon as the dessert was served, he was out of here. And such a blessing to me. And he did that several times. And a servant's heart, servant's spirit, a very happy person. Would that they were all that way. God bless you today.